Welcome to Machine God Eats, ladies and gentlemen. Insanity is the inability to behave and think in a rational, logical, insane way, or what people would consider to be a normal way. Most people think that the definition of insanity is repeating the same cycle over and over again. I would argue that both definitions fit insanity in one shape or form. I believe that the definition of insanity fits most people. I think most people are on the brink of what we will consider to be sane or insane. I think there's a very fine line between the two. So when you see a lot of the headlines like you've been seeing over the last week between the beach in Australia, between the mass shooting over there at Brown University, between everything that's going on in the world right now that people are trying to digest and take in, okay, and say, why are these people doing this? What's normal about this? Well, people are different forms of monkey. I don't know how to put that. So you look at most monkeys teeter on the brink of sane and insane, and so do most people, right? I mean, talk to people, literally talk to people, or just pay attention to people. Have you ever really talked to a truly hateful person? You will find that most people have a lot of hate in their heart. Most people have a hatred for something. Just some people focuses their hate on demographics of people, or maybe one person, or whatever it may be, and they take that hate and they let it fester on the inside. And for a lot of the woes that they got going on in their life, they equate those woes to those people existing. So talk to a hateful person. For example, talk to a racist and ask them about black people, okay? Or ask them about whatever demographic of people that they feel is vexing them, okay? Listen to them talk about them and bring up all of these negatives about that community, mostly through things that they've heard in the news that they've accumulated in their head to have this, like, mental Venn diagram of why blacks or Hispanics or whoever the case, whatever race that there is in the crosshairs of their ire, don't deserve to be here. Listen to them talk about those people, or listen to a radical feminist talk about men. Just listen to them talk about all the negative aspects of men, and they'll talk about it. They'll talk about it as nothing. They'll talk into their phone, a device invented by men, about how men are trash while they're in a house that is kept, built, and maintained by men, but men have no utility in their mind, right? But what these people have in common, ask them, what is the ultimate solution for the people that they hate? Ask them, what do y'all want for those people? What do you want for those people to happen to those people, right? Because they're not going to just disappear. Black people aren't just going to disappear off the face of the planet. Men aren't just going to disappear off the face of the planet. Whoever you hate as a whole probably isn't going to, unless it's just an individual, isn't going to just disappear off the planet. But when you ask these people, what do you want to happen to these people? Listen to their answer. Most people are crazy. Most people are out of their goddamn mind, and you'll realize that most people teeter on sane and insane. It's a very fine line. Your neighbors, your brothers, your sisters, your dad, your mom. Some of these people have some skeletons in their closet. Some of these people have some dark fantasies and some dark ideologies about the way the world should be, right? So you would ask them, well, what do you hope to happen to these people? Because you could just leave these people alone. You don't have to deal with these people. I don't have to deal with radical feminists, right? If I don't like, let's say I don't like black people and I'm a white person, or I don't like black people, I'm an Asian person, whatever the case may be, or I don't like Asian people, I'm a black person, right? I can just avoid Asian people, right? That would be what I would consider to be the sane answer that a rational human being would get. I just avoid those people. If I hate black people, I'm just not gonna go around them. That ain't what most people's solution is. Most people's solution is something dark and twisted. It's deport them, send them back to wherever the hell, even if they were born right in the same hospital that the person is talking about. You know what I'm saying? In the same hour, the same day, whatever. Send them back to some place they've never been, right? You hear a lot of people say it about Mexican Americans that have been here, that were born here, even though if their parents came here legal. They'll say that the people that were born here need to go back to a place that they've never been or have no familiarity with, right? That's just on the simple thing, right? You go even further, and if you really talk to them, they most of the time will come up with a final solution akin to like the Third Reich. They will be this close to telling you that they'll want to put all of the people that they hate into a fucking oven and disintegrate them. Not just for them to evaporate off the face of the planet. They'll want to do something sadistic in order to make them feel something. Just recently, even, there were people just about to get their citizenship, about to be sworn in. When we had green cards for 20 something years, 15, 20 something years, about to be sworn into the process. Federal agents show up while they're about to be sworn in, before they can be sworn in, because they come from certain countries that this particular president deemed to be unworthy of being here. So as they've been here, went through the process, paid the money, went through the lawyers, the paperwork and everything, sat there, did everything right. As people say, you do it right, come here to do the right way. They did everything right. Federal agents showed up the day they were there to get sworn in to put them in a facility to deport them. You tell me that's not sadistic. That's sadism. That's sadistic. And a lot of people have that type of crazy nonsense in their heart, that dark energy. And that's why you see a shooting like a father and a son going to a beach and just start opening up. I hear there was a child as young as 8 that was struck and killed over there in Australia. And people will say, oh, we don't need to turn this political. We need to get rid of guns altogether. Why? So the state can have an absolute, like, that's Australia. They got rid of guns. You understand? That was still a man able and his son able to get a gun, go to a beach, and just mow people down with nobody able to stop them. One guy walked up on the guy, took the gun, and for some reason didn't blow that dude's shit back, because if it was me, if I walk up on a mass shooter and I'm able to disarm him, I'm blowing his shit all the way across the universe. I swear to God I am. I'm not going to just, let the cops handle this. I'm going to take, especially you've been shooting at kids and stuff, you're done. You're through. Nah, you're done. You're done. Y'all can say, oh, that's judge, jury, executioner. And that's the insanity in me. This Libra sense of justice that I have, that I'm like, if I see certain things that are completely wrong, I can't attach myself to this world for a very long time afterwards, right? For instance, some of the stuff I see when I see some of these stories about the state or somebody being victimized, not just by the state, but maybe by another person, right? And the people get off, maybe the cops or the criminal that has hurt somebody in your family, either taking them out or touched them or did something effed up, right? And the state doesn't do its job. There is a rage that exists in me when I see those stories. The rage exists in me not just because there's not justice enacted, but because I know that the family's not going to do what is natural in their hearts to enact justice. Because we have abdicated our natural urge as families to get justice for those who have wronged our families. And we have to tuck that shit in and accept plea deals, accept settlements, accept, that type of shit. That's not enough. Sometimes there needs to be blood. And the fact that I know that and I feel that in my heart and soul when it comes to thinking about somebody victimizing somebody in my family lets me know that there's a level of insanity, that thin line of insanity that I'm talking about is thin with me too. That if somebody does that and if the state doesn't do its fucking job to put somebody away in the dungeon for the rest of their life or enact the type of justice, like you say, you touch somebody, like let's say you touch one of my kids or my grandkids or somebody, and I don't have grandkids, but I'm just saying, if I have grandkids and one of them is some asshole do it and the state don't want to chemically castrate them, then I feel it's on me to carry out the castration. And if that is insane, so be it. So when I say most people, I'm not just talking about outside of myself. I'm talking about in general. We all have something that can make us cross that line into insanity. That's why you see somebody like a Britney Spears, who was once the America's freaking darling. Really, like, I love Britney Spears. Everybody had love for Britney freaking Spears. You know what I'm saying? And that's a hard thing to do for like a blonde white girl for everybody to freaking love. You know what I'm saying? Most people would try to hate on somebody like that. And she had her haters or whatever, but for the vast majority of people enjoy Britney Spears. People enjoy Britney Spears' music and this and everything. And look what happened. They drove her to fucking insanity. That woman is off her goddamn rocker these days. And this is just a few short 20 years later. You see what I'm saying? She didn't go through a war. She didn't go through that. She went through conservatorship and different being drugged up and taken through the ringer through these MK Ultra freaking programs that they have. Same thing with Kanye. What happened to him? He's in the freaking ether somewhere because they keep you drugged up. They keep you in this insanity. We all can be susceptible to falling off the edge, and you have to be careful and know yourself to avoid falling, into the edge of insanity. Some things are unavoidable. Some things, like I said, if somebody trespass against your family and that's something that would drive you mad, that's something that you probably can't avoid, right? But as far as like the hatred that you have in your heart for other people, those people will exist whether or not you whether or not you like it or not, right? If you don't like Eskimos, Eskimos exist, you know. But I know that there's a people here on this planet who have been descendants of people who have carried out genocides and believe that genocide is a thing that should be carried out. I don't believe in that. I do believe that it's happening. I believe it's happening around the world, and we get all these stories about it happening because it's a thing. We get overwhelmed with all this information, and there's nothing we can do about it. The world is insane, so you can't necessarily expect people not to be insane. You see what I'm saying? It's crazy out here looking at the various stories that are going on. A young woman named Reezy, just took her own life on TikTok Live a few nights ago by hanging herself, literally on live. And she did this because she was bullied, or she was a part of a community of people called messy talk, people that do this like drama type stuff, blah blah blah, always on live, yada yada. And they bullied her when she was in a mental hospital. They doing interviews with her talking about, oh, your minister ran up and stuff that you shouldn't be talking to a person that's in a mental hospital. Of course, when I'm doing a video, we have a meeting outside. I'm telling you guys, I get so irritated. But she felt compelled to take herself up out the game. But I'm going to let you guys know, don't ever let somebody on the internet or somebody even in your life make you want to take yourself off the game. As far as the internet, it's very easy to just log off, cancel your account, block people. Just don't deal with people. Don't let people bully you to the point where you feel that you're freaking worthless or you're not worthy of being here. And to her and her family, rest in peace to that young lady, Reezy. I think her name was Reezy. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. And fuck everybody else that was on those panels that was talking to that girl when she was going through what she was going through, mental health, like the mental health stuff. That young lady had confided in somebody that she had been sexually assaulted by her therapist. She had hired like a therapist, and the therapist like took advantage of her, and they used that information against her in a lie. People are fucked up. There's a dark energy over the world, so protect yourself spiritually, protect yourself mentally, and protect your heart. You understand? Because if you don't, you can teeter off the edge of sane and insane too. It is very easy, especially when economics is pushing against you. There's this spiritual warfare that's happening that we can't see with our eyes. It's all happening. You know what I mean? So just be careful. The world is a crazy place. People are insane. You got to remember that, especially people you don't know. That's why I've been saying lately to people, start avoiding fights. Don't just go, and if you can avoid a fight, avoid it. Don't get into a fight with somebody because you don't know what somebody got on them. Where's my like, look, here, you know, somebody could just easily, and you, that's it, right there in your heart. And I've seen it happen. Somebody could just neck you, just, you know what I'm saying, just that quick, because people are crazy. no, that's dumb. But no, seriously, like that's out here, and people be waiting. You know what I mean? People be waiting to use their weapons. You think people get weapons and don't want to use them? You don't think people, especially if they never had them, you don't think people ain't out here just like, man, I can't wait. That's why I see these videos of people saying, finally got my gun. I can't wait for somebody to break in my house. Why? Why would you ever want to have to use that? Why would you ever want to even go through that trauma for yourself, for your family? Why would you ever want to have to shoot somebody in your house? I don't ever want to have to shoot somebody. I don't ever want to have to hurt somebody. I don't ever want to have to get to the point where I feel like my family needs so much justice and I have to go out of character and go into savage mode and do somebody what they need to be done to them. You feel me what I'm saying? Like, I don't ever want to meet that part of me. I hope that I pray that I never have to meet that, right? But for all these insane bastards that start shooting into crowds, right? And then the president with Brown University, the shooting going on, this nigga said, oh, the shooter's been apprehended. He hadn't been apprehended, so they have to put out a statement saying, no, the shooter hasn't been apprehended, like he's still out. And then they arrested one dude, had to release him because he was the wrong dude, and put out a picture for another dude with the same name in the same state that wasn't even a shooter. It had nothing to do with none of that. The government is incompetent. Our officials are incompetent. So you have to protect yourself regardless of whatever's going on. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys are having a fabulous week. I hope you guys are having a safe week. I'm even wearing a helmet this week. Got a new scooter. It's fast as shit, dude. So I'm putting on a helmet and some protective gear to protect myself because I don't want to hit a rock and just go flying and tumbling all through the thing and end up more crazy. End up with some CT or some crazy stuff like that. With that being said, y'all, I'll catch y'all next time. Bye-bye. Probably tomorrow.